How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Family. We are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be taking a look at buy, hold, and sell for Game Week 7. A player which we think you should buy for this coming game week because they have good fixtures or they've been doing quite well. A player that you should hang on to or at least give another game week to see what they can do. And players that we think you should sell because they're either not good enough or their fixtures are turning bad or they may be injured for the long term. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new or haven't done so already. It greatly helps out the channel, as well as turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Drop us a follow over on Twitter so that you can keep up to date with any and all FPL news, from injury news to price changes and anything in between. And lastly, make sure to give us a follow over on Twitch so you can see when we go live for our preview and deadline streams. We will be doing a deadline stream as per normal this week. The last game week before the second international break will be up 1 hour before the FPL deadline on Saturday, and there'll be a pinned comment down below to let you know the exact time zone and link to the stream as well. So without further ado, let's talk about Fantasy Football Scouts, our partners for this FPL season. So if you haven't heard about Fantasy Football Scout, they have a fantastic members area during the regular season. It's £25 for the membership, and that lasts the entire year. And during the off season, they give a 20% discount. But if you have missed that discount, fear not, you can still get the membership for £25, and it's fantastic. You can see the membership area just behind me. You have a bunch of different stats that you can use, powered by Opta stats, and create your own custom tables. You have the Rate My Team tool, you have the season ticker, player comparison tools, a whole array of things that you can use to help elevate your FPL game. So use the link down in the description below so that you can get access to these exclusive tools to help elevate your FPL game. Sign up now. Now, if we take a look at last game week's picks that we had for our buys, hold, and sell, we picked Ismail Assar, who got himself a brace the previous game week and got himself another goal with the one big chance, 2 shots inside the box, and overperformed his XGI fantastically well, which is what you want to see from your cheap differential assets. Although a lot of managers in the top 10k are going for him, he is doing very, very well. He had a short little run of fixtures, which I brought him in for. He's got one last fixture versus Leeds, so he won't be going anywhere from my team. Before then, he has kind of a rough patch versus Liverpool and some other very good teams up in the top half of the Premier League. Trent Alexander-Arnold, we said for him to be a hold. Didn't expect him to concede 3 to Brentford. He did create one chance, which was a very good chance. 0.32 XGI expected from him, but nothing to show for it. So it must have been a decent chance that he did create. Although he is now injured and could be out for more than one game week, we still have to wait and see exactly the details on that. But we know that he wasn't involved in the Champions League on Tuesday night versus Porto in Liverpool's 5-1 win away from home. So we'll have to see what he's going to be like and what shape he's going to be in come versus Man City, which is the last game on the Sunday. If Klopp gives us any inclination that he might be available for that, although he says it is a muscle injury and these things take time, they don't heal right away. So that, to me, make it seems like it's at least a couple of weeks. Now, there is the international break, so if you can hang on to him, potentially he might be okay after the international break because he won't be going on England duty. So he might be a hold for this week as well if you don't have other fires to put up. And lastly, Ferran Torres. I mean, he started like a house on fire, was looking really, really well in the first couple of game weeks, then had his monster haul with 2 goals and an assist in game week 3, international break, scoring goals for Spain, looking lively, and then just hasn't played a minute since. Pep just does these sorts of things. It's really, really random, and he didn't play this week either, not a single minute, and none in the Champions League either. 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 big chances, 0 chance created, 0 shots in the box, and a whole bunch of zeros in every other stat category. So he was definitely right to sell, and I think the likes of a Foden or a Grealish, even if you want a little bit more security in the start, I think is a lot better going forward. You play slightly more in a slightly less, kind of goal-scoring position, but I think that they could be the best long-term, so we'll have to wait and see on that. But those are our game week picks for last game week. Let's look at our buy for game week 7. Now, the player that we've chosen here is Antonio Rudiger, and the only reason I've picked him over the likes of Azpilicueta or Alonso or anyone like that in the Chelsea backline. It's just because of how well he's been playing, and I don't think there's anyone in the backline that plays the left-sided center back better than him on a more consistent basis. Right-sided center back, Reece James could play there, Azpilicueta could play there, even Christensen could play there. The central center back, Rudiger can play there, Thiago Silva can play there, Christensen can play there. But the left-sided center back, I don't really think anyone can play there, to be honest. I think Antonio Rudiger is the only one that realistically can play there, which for me, alongside Azpilicueta, he's probably the most nailed-on defender. And look at the fixtures. Southampton at home, Brentford away, Norwich at home, Newcastle away. I mean, those just look like a bunch of clean sheets. He's only 15.2% owned at the moment. He's gone up in price already this week. He got himself a goal the other week as well. I think it was against Spurs, I think at the very end of the game, from Timo Werner. He's created a couple of chances, so he does have the potential to knock the ball down on a set piece. Has had a couple of shots as well, and is definitely going to be involved on some set pieces. Will pick up bonus from time to time because he does like playing it out from the back or surging forward, making successful dribbles, and then making a key pass in the final third. So I think he's probably the one to go for. Out of him and Azpilicueta, I think he's going to be the one that probably picks up a little bit more points overall. That being said, though, if Reece James is out for the suspected 6 weeks, then maybe Azpilicueta is the one to go for. Me personally, I'm going to end up with both of them. I just think if you have to pick one this week, go for Antonio Rudiger, because I think set plays could be something that Chelsea might need to get on the score sheet versus Southampton, who have been quite robust defensively over the last few weeks in open play. So we'll have to see kind of how that one goes down in game week 7. But on paper, it looks like a very good fixture for Chelsea just overall. But Chelsea defense, definitely going to be doubling up on that on my wildcard in game week 8. And might have to go even earlier on that with potentially a hit depending on how my lineup's looking. Because I have Trent flagged and Shaw flagged and Ayling flagged. So I might be in a bit of trouble going into this game week. And I have Tsimikas as my 4 out of my 5 defenders, so I might just be stuck with Veltman going into this week, which might mean that I need to make a couple of transfers even before wildcard, which isn't always ideal. But I think Antonio Rudiger, definitely a buy for me this week, especially if you're on a wildcard as well. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at a player who is arguably one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player of all time, that some managers are thinking of selling before game week 7. And that player is Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm not really too sure why you'd be selling him for Lukaku at this moment in time. I think a lot of FPL managers are going to have defensive issues that they need to sort out. If you were wildcarding, I say there would be potentially an argument. But I still think that the next couple of fixtures, Ronaldo can still score. I mean, he could score against literally anyone at any given time. It also seems like Chelsea, the goals might be drying up a little bit for them as well. They play in the Champions League tonight. No goals scored versus Juventus with only 1 shot on target, although that was away, and Juventus is a very good defensive team. And then no goals versus Man City either. So maybe Ronaldo is the premium to have up front. But for me, he's a hold. I wouldn't be doing one of your free transfers or even for a hit to get rid of him to get Lukaku in. I think Everton at home is a perfectly fine fixture. I think Brentford away, maybe Chelsea struggled there. I mean, Liverpool potentially struggled there as well. Brentford are one of the best defenses in the league statistically at the moment, whereas Leicester are definitely not. But I think I believe it's Norwich at home that Chelsea play in game week 9, and I think that would be the one where I'd swap Ronaldo to Lukaku if you hadn't done so already, because Norwich is just going to get obliterated probably by Chelsea, and United have Liverpool, so it just makes the most sense. But Ronaldo's stats, 3 goals on the season, 5 big chances total. It doesn't really create too much, but has a lot of shots, and that generates a lot of his expected goal involvement. So if you have Cristiano Ronaldo, I would say hold him for the time being. Yes, United don't play very well. Yes, United are kind of Freestylers FC or Moments FC or big stage FC, whatever you want to call them. Ronaldo's that guy, so it would suit him perfectly if you think about it. So I think that Ronaldo could get something versus Everton, who haven't really played anyone really of any note this season. And when they went up against a good Aston Villa side, they got thrashed 3-0. So I think personally, Ronaldo can definitely do well in this one versus Everton. And if he scores a brace, let's say versus Everton, and Lukaku maybe just gets an assist or doesn't get a goal at all, then you could be in a situation where, do we really want to sell Ronaldo on the wild card at game week 8 and keep him for Leicester? I'm not too sure, but I think it's definitely one to think about. But this week, definitely wouldn't be getting rid of him unless you literally have nothing else to do in your team, which I would highly doubt that, considering there's some defensive flags all over the place. Ronaldo's going nowhere from my team. Now, if there is a Manchester United player I would consider selling this weekend with a caveat before Game Week 7, I think it's going to be Luke Shaw. And personally, it's just because defensively, United haven't been able to keep clean sheets. They do concede very, very silly goals from time to time. And I just think that, you know, Luke Shaw also potentially has an injury, could go down in price as well. I'm personally going to hang on to him, because if I can hang on to him, then I might save myself 4 points. So I have a situation where I have Veltman in my team, I have Luke Shaw, and I have Trent, who are both flagged. I have Ayling, who's flagged, and I have Tsimikas, who probably won't play, almost certainly. So basically, I have 4 flags effectively in my team, all saying that they're probably not going to play. Tsimikas is basically he's not going to play. Trent is he's probably not going to play. Shaw is he could play. We don't necessarily know. Veltman will play. And it's just a situation where I might have to just kind of wait and see. And if Shaw is still available, I think he can definitely create something versus Everton and can potentially get a clean sheet. I think Everton have been riding their luck a little bit offensively against some weaker opposition. And I think defensively they are definitely open at the back, which, you know, and especially from set pieces, they haven't been great from those either. At least they, you know, they look shaky from the eye test. And I think Shaw could be delivering those corners in to the likes of Ronaldo as an example, or Cavani, or whoever's on the pitch at the time. And I mean, if you look at his creativity stats, 16 chances created across the season, 12 of which have been in the last 4 game weeks. So definitely stepping it up. 2 of those 3 big chances on the season have been in the last 4 game weeks. His XGI has kind of dropped off a little bit, so those chances created may not have necessarily been of better quality, but he is still very good from both open play and set pieces. Now, like I said, if you're like my team and you have no other fires to put out, then maybe Shaw just goes straight out of the team and goes in a Chelsea defender or a Man City defender, whoever you want to bring in. But for me, I'd much be looking to get rid of Trent first, because he could be longer term, whereas Shaw doesn't necessarily seem like it's, or at least what we're getting from Solskjaer, that it might not necessarily be as longer of term as the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold. And a lot of managers have both players. So I would personally wait and see what he says. If he says, oh, he hasn't trained all week, but we'll see if we can get him involved, that's most likely going to be a no-go. And same goes for Trent Alexander-Arnold. I would think they would both potentially be a sell if they're injured for more than a couple game weeks, or if they're like, oh yeah, he's going to be out 6 weeks or something like that, then it would probably be a sell. But I think it's worth waiting, because if I only have to get rid of Shaw as an example, because I would have Veltman and potentially Shaw or Trent, and then I could get rid of the other one for a Chelsea defender, I could save myself 4 points because I only have 1 free transfer. Now, if you have 2 free transfers or a wild card, definitely err on the side of selling if that was the case. But yeah, Luke Shaw for me, given his potential not being fit this week, if he's not fit, then I would say is going to be a sell for Game Week 7. And that's going to do it for our buy, hold, sell for Game Week 7. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new or haven't done so already. It greatly helps out the channel. As well as turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Also, drop us a follow over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with any and all FPL news, from price changes to presser quotes and anything in between. And as well as make sure to give us a follow over on Twitch so you can see when we go live for our preview and deadline streams. We will be doing a deadline stream as per normal. There'll be a pinned comment down below to let you know the exact time. It's going to be 1 hour before the FPL deadline, whatever your time zone is. And lastly, make sure to use the link down in the description below so that you can get your Fantasy Football Scout membership. It has Opta stats tables, which are customizable, heat maps, and a whole lot more. It's going to help elevate your FPL game. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, take care.